On this hot sunny day, I find myself on the northeast coast of England at this rather splendid location. Now, I created a video a couple of weeks ago and I mentioned the photographers moan at just about everything. Well, I think that my moaning is fairly justified today because I'm at this fantastic location. It's a location that my good pal John brought me to a couple of years ago, and it's called the Fence to Nowhere because it's a fence that just leads out into the sea, and when you get a high tide it covers the floor and all you end up with is a fence that goes to nowhere. So it's quite good for photography. But here's my moan. There's no fence anymore. The poles are still in place, but for some unknown reason all the barbed wire has disappeared. It's all gone. I'm guessing it's probably been taken for health and safety reasons, but what a shame. You see, if you don't know, the barbed wire used to obviously wind its way along this post here. It used to collect all the seaweed and stuff, so therefore it was really dark and grungy looking, and it was fantastic for photography, and unfortunately it's not there anymore. What a shame. So I'm just going to have to do with the fence posts to nowhere. Not quite the same ring as the Fence to Nowhere, but I'm here now an hour before high tide, so I'm just going to make the most of it. I'm guessing it'll probably still look nice anyway, as long as the water comes up and over the floor, which I'm guessing it will do. It'll probably look nice as a minimalistic feel, long exposure. You know where I'm going with this already. Anyway, enjoy the video, guys. Enjoy the video. Right then, so quite literally 45 minutes before high tide. It's not a spring tide, but it's certainly one of the highest tides of the year. And I'm just trying to guess where the tide is likely to come in the next 45 minutes. I'm hoping that it covers these rocks here in front of me. But if it comes up and around here, that's probably quite nice. So all I'm going to do now is just look for a very quick composition. Like I say, it's going to be a really minimalistic feel. It's going to be a long, you know my style of photography, it's going to be a really long exposure. I'm going to don my 10-stop filter. That'll definitely give me a 2-minute exposure here today with the water around these rocks. It's going to look quite nice, but most importantly is the fence posts form a nice S-bend here, going out to sea, going out to nothing really. It's a real shame that the barbed wire and everything is missing, because that adds real character to the image, and that character clearly is not going to be there now, but never mind. Like I say, you can moan and moan and moan, or you could just get on with it. So let's just stop and moan and moan and moan. I've just been told there's a dead whale about 500 meters around the coastline from where we currently are, so I might grab this shot and wander around and see through morbid curiosity what a dead whale looks like that's washed up on the shores of England. Joking aside though, if you look up along the coastline to my left hand side, you could see the amount of seaweed that there is, so you'll just have to imagine what this place would look like if the barbed wire was in place and it was full of that seaweed, but never mind. Right, okay, let's have a quick look. Just while I'm getting set up, if anybody knows the reason why they've removed all the barbed wire from here, I'm guessing it's because it's health and safety. Leave a comment down below. Just be very interesting. If I'm interested to find out why, I'm sure other people will be as well. All right, let's just go through my normal procedure. Let's have a look and see how that looks. I'm feeling I need to go lower. Lower, lower, lower. Right. Now, I know the water's coming in, and I don't want to get all set up with the perfect composition to find out that the water's going to come over this sand and weten it. Otherwise, a 2-minute exposure just won't work. So, I'm going to edge up towards the these rocks. Now let's have a look and see what I've got there. Something like that might work. I quite like this single post here on the left hand side. That adds a bit of interest. But the problem is from here you've got 1, 2, 3 posts there that all pretty much gel into each other, and I don't like that, so I need to come maybe slightly further to the left. Let's try. Okay, let's try something like that. Obviously the camera won't be there. I'm just trying to show you guys how I go about composing my images. I think that's a winner. I like that. The only thing I don't like is this post down here on the left hand side is too central, so I've got 35mm on here, and that's the longest reach I've got, but I need to separate that there from the center. So there's only one thing I can do, and that is to get closer to the action. Right. Okay. That, I think, will probably work. But now I need to get lower. Yeah, I feel I need definitely to get lower. Okay, there. I like that. Let's get you out the way and let's see what that looks like. When I got set up, I wasn't keen on how busy the composition looked, so I've moved the camera forward about 15 feet, and the reason being is because I thought the high tide would cover the group of rocks furthest away from the camera, and it hasn't. So from there, at the moment, it's showing this group of rocks right beside me and the second group of rocks as well. And for a minimalistic, fine arty seascape feel, it needs to be more minimalistic. Well, for me it does anyway. It just looks a bit too busy. 20 minutes now for high tide, so clearly the water's going to come in a little bit more, but as we all know, it's not going to come in a great deal in 20 minutes, so I don't think it's going to be enough to cover that. I don't know, I'll wait till the high tide comes in and then I'll take 2 or 3 different compositions like I normally do anyway. But for me, I just don't like a seascape, especially when it's fine arty or in a fine art style. I don't like it to be too busy. That's quite an interesting challenge. I quite enjoyed that actually. I think it's definitely lost its romance because the seaweed isn't hanging on the barbed wire anymore. But yeah, I think if you work a composition well enough, I mean, that seaweed on the barbed wire is never going to be here again, ever. So you'll just have to erase that. If you're one of the lucky ones that's already got that in your portfolio, then well done to you. But if not, that's never going to be here again. But yeah, okay. So that aside, because I like to work a scene to within an inch of its life, let's throw the 70 to 200mm lens on there. Let's look for some more compositions and some different angles. I think when it comes to fine art photography, it's amazing really what you can get away with. I'm just isolating a few of the poles that's out at sea. There's going to be nothing else in the shot except a sea I'm going to turn into an ice skating rink, a few pegs placed neatly within the rules of thirds, and a bit of sky. And I might even choose to lose the sky as well. In camera, that looks pretty nice. I must admit, in camera, that looks very nice. But in all seriousness, how many times have we all looked on the back of our camera and thought, wow, can't wait to get back to post-process that. And when we get back, it's pants. I'm sure we've all been there. Oh, it's like the male version of that scene from 10. Guess I'm showing my age now. I'm done and dusted here. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. It's been a good challenge. It's certainly not going to be what I expected it to be, but hey ho, that's just the way life is, I'm guessing sometimes. Right, what I'm going to do now is pack up, and like I said earlier, for curiosity's sake, going to head down to the whales. So in the meantime, enjoy these pictures.